This segment of Hak5 is brought to you by GoToAssist.
Is your hope at this point to be able to like push over an APK and execute it, or what are you trying to achieve at that point?
So originally we were looking for local privilege. So there have been a number of local privilege escalation points, like Mempo Dipper and a bunch of Zerg Rush and a bunch of exploits for Android to get root. And originally, yeah, we were trying to push over these binaries to execute them on the machine, and that's where I was having the issue with Serial, where every once in a while it would just be like, nope, I don't want to take any more bytes from you, like I don't like your bytes, they're not good here. So I spent a lot of time just trying to figure out how to push these like small byte, like 4 kilobytes of data. I mean, maybe for like a Serial person that's a lot of data, but to me that's like, you could base 64 then, like see, like it's tiny. I had the hardest time with that, so eventually I got like desperate and I started just LSing /bin, and I started going through every single command that was specific to Android. And I found a really neat command which lets you interact with the content URI within Android. The content URI basically hosts a bunch of resources that in some cases you can access them across applications. They reveal, I believe they reveal more than just SQLite databases. I think they have other resources like images and a few other things you can do. But in this instance, we were attacked. We wanted to be able to figure out how to re-enable ADB or to get a shell on the phone or something. So it turns out that as a shell user, you still have permission to modify the SQLite database for the settings manager in Android, which includes ADB.
So even though ADB is disabled and you don't have a privileged account, you can still enable ADB by pushing the settings update?
Yeah, so basically, I mean, it's almost literally SQL. You kind of run content URI, content settings, global. I forget exactly what it is. It's basically update value string 1 where value or when name equals ADB enable. And once you do that, ADB actually enables itself. You can unplug the serial port, which in my experience has been very lackluster for a lot of things, and then you plug in your regular USB port, and then you have ADB access, and you get to do a lot of fun stuff.
Wow, that is an awesome, like, who would have thought that there was that channel available? I mean, obviously the manufacturers know that this channel is available because they probably use it for, well, you said it's a debug prompt, it's probably used for debugging. How does the manufacturer go about doing this? Because they're obviously not soldering together a little red board. What is it that, is there commonality amongst vendors, and what kind of test equipment do they use?
Yeah, there isn't much commonality among vendors, but we know of some vendors that have some kind of a test chase that they use, like this one, the Samsung Anyway here is one example. And so this is a device that's used either by Samsung itself or by maybe people who are deploying or provisioning Samsung devices, probably use these kinds of things, or servicing Samsung devices. And this actually has a whole bunch of different options. It has all these little dip switches, controls, and it lets you plug in through this long cable to the USB port of the target device, or into whatever connector that target device has. If it's, it supports all kinds of different phones and tablets and things from long before they started putting USB connectors on phones, right? So you can get all kinds of different interfaces for it, and it's relatively easy to find online and buy one of these things, and it gives you a lot of ways to control these multiplex functions and interact with these bootloaders and UARTs and so forth.
That's fantastic. So this is commercially available. I'm assuming the red board you could make something very similar with regular TTL and resistor, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, this little board here is just a couple of breakout boards soldered together with 3 pieces of wire and 1 resistor.
How much would that be? How much was that thing so you had it? I mean, I'm sure you had it in a bunch of spare kits.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is all spare parts around in my lab, but this, like, buying this new and soldering it up, I think the component of these bits would cost something like $25. And that's actually like the more expensive way to do it. I mean, the parts that are on these breakout boards are even cheaper than that, but the breakout boards themselves make it really easy to assemble.
So you've got the expensive test gear, you've got your homebrew hack solution. What's the obvious next step here then?
Well, we want to have our own board that actually does allows you to do, more than just what this one does with the fixed resistor. More like what that thing does. That's highly configurable, but we want it to be software configurable and very universal, so that all the different target devices we might be interested in, no matter what manufacturer they're from, no matter what kind of port they have, physical jack that we're trying to plug into. We want to have kind of a universal tool that can do automated probing for these types of multiplexed interfaces. And I have a board in progress that I kind of showed a little bit last night, but it's not working yet. So that's a work in progress at this point.
And what is that board?
It's called Toad, the totally over-engineered adapter/detector, which is I just wanted an excuse to call something Toad because I think toads are cool, but toads are ninja. But and it is totally over-engineered. Like, it was supposed to be this little 1.5 square inch thing, and it turned out to be something with over 300 components on it. And, it's about the size and complexity of this guy, which is not what I was originally going for, but if that's what it takes to make it as universal as we want.
So the idea is that it wouldn't be specific here in this case to Samsung.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we want something that we can use to probe any port on any electronic device.
Have you started playing with, say, the iPhone?
I haven't. I don't know, have you?
I haven't played with the ports on the iPhone. I mean, I know hearsay is that at least on the old iPhone, the 30-pin connector, that there were a lot of ports there that were actually used for debugging and for administrative uses on iPhones. Supposedly, there are magical cables that only exist in Apple's hands that you can plug in and you can get more detailed information, or you can get other stuff. So theoretically, I mean, there could be tons of stuff there, and we just don't know how to access it yet.
That was awesome. This is all very exciting. It's really cool to see how there's multiple channels within each layer, and I think the port analogy was very good because that's what we're used to online. Where can people find more about what you're doing, Mike, and what you're doing, Kaz?
GreatScottGadgets.com is kind of my home base. Everything I'm working on pretty much is there or linked to from there.
Yeah, Ubertooth, Toads, Hak5.
Yep, all the above.
Nice.
And in particular, actually, the Toad project is based on a variant of the GoodFet, and so that the schematic and everything is actually in the GoodFet repository.
That's awesome. All right, and Kaz, what's new, man?
Well, I'm here in beautiful San Diego, so I'm doing something right. So
where can people get a hold of you?
I'm at cause.io, KOS.io, or the KOS Twitter.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Cheers.
I know how it is working in IT. It means constantly jumping from one problem to the next, and everything, of course, needs to be solved fast. Every minute counts. I mean, you can't waste your time juggling different tools and duplicating data entry. That's why I use GoToAssist. Less copy and paste. It's from Citrix. They're the leader in remote support. And get this, you'll have all the tools you need in one nice little integrated cloud-based platform so you can work faster and more efficiently. See, GoToAssist includes 3 different support tools customized to your needs. Well, there's the service desk so you can log incidents and track the resolution. There's GoToAssist monitoring to proactively identify issues before they become your boss calling you in a huge headache. And of course, remote support to provide live and unattended support to any PC, Mac, or mobile device from anywhere to resolve issues quickly. I've been using them for years. It has saved my bacon on more than one occasion. So you can assist anyone. Sign up for your special 30-day free trial today. Visit GoToAssist.com, click on the Try It Free button, and use the promo code HAK5. That's GoToAssist.com, promo code HAK5.
And it's time for my favorite part of the show, the Technlust photo of the week. This one comes from Matt. He says, love the Hak5 show, so happy to see the release of the new Wi-Fi Pineapple 5. A little while after the Mark IV was released, he purchased one and he was inspired by our wall-mounted server, so he went about creating his own, and he also attached his Pineapple to it. This is such a cool picture. I love it. He built this a little while ago and he just hasn't gotten around to sending us some pictures. So he finally did, and here it is for you guys. Thank you so much, Matt. We really appreciate you sending in your photo, and you guys can send your photos over to feedback@hak5.org. Just put the subject line as Technlust so we can find it.
Sorry. Hey guys, it's day 2 of ToorCon, and I totally don't have a hangover, but you know what I do have? I have Paul. What's up, Paul?
Hi.
So you almost the entire internet accidentally?
Yeah, I was scanning, and well, then there was the whole internet in my cloud.
Okay, so let's take a step back, because I've seen like talks where people are talking about like, oh, you know, I spent the last 6 months, you know, DNS zone transferring the internet, or checking banners on every port 22 and 23 and 25, and what exactly did you do now?
So I built a distributed system, and at my talk, the demo actually worked for once, and in just a little less than 20 minutes, not only did we port scan the whole internet for port 5900, but we also took a screenshot of everything that was listening on 5900 unauthenticated.
Okay, so 5900 for, you know, the sysadmins in the crowd who obviously know, we're talking about VNC here. How on earth did you go about unauthenticatedly connecting to all of those servers?
Well, the protocol, you connect and say how would you like to authenticate? One of those options is no authentication. So we scanned for that, and then just ran a simple snapshot program. The interesting thing was how many there really were out there. You know, in any given subnet, there were several hundred at least.
And so these are machines that necessarily don't ask for a password. Is it just that they also accept you saying, no, I don't want to give you a password. Can I just have it in anyway?
Well, they're actually both. There's a vulnerability in an older version of Real VNC where it says, send me a password, but if you say, I'm not sending you a password, it's like, cool. I didn't exploit that vulnerability, but I could see which machines were vulnerable to it.
Okay, so you didn't hack anything, not in the sense of like breaking any security that would potentially be violating any laws. You just, hey, these doors are open. I'm going to walk in and see what's going on.
Yeah,
take a photo.
Just taking a look at what's there. You know, on the servers that explicitly say you can connect to this.
But you didn't like go in and start clicking around and
No. We had it set up so that it didn't interact with the system at all. The only thing it did was connect. It wasn't moving mouses or anything. We got a lot of screensavers. You know, someone else could write a program that would move the mouse a little bit, and you'd see a lot more. But
it's
we
a
weren't
fine
doing
line.
that.
As soon as you move that mouse, you've
done something.
Okay, so what on earth did you see out there? Because, well, first of all, there's a couple of billion hosts on the internet.
Yeah.
Second of all, of those billion, how many run VNC? And of those, how many don't ask for a password?
So there's 4 billion hosts on the internet. I think about 2.2 million are have an open VNC port. Of those, I think it was about 1 in 10 that let me log in without a password and take a look and see what was there.
That's an alarming number.
Yeah, it is. Looking through the results, I think there are 2 main reasons that this is happening. One of which is Real VNC it's a commercial product. When the license expires, they fall back to having no security.
Wow,
you know,
that's even better than it just stops working.
Yeah. I mean, you would think maybe just stop working is a better default behavior. The other thing is it looks like the free version of TeamViewer has the same behavior. It just doesn't include a password.
Thank you. So what kind of stuff did you see of those, you know, maybe 1 in 10 that you scanned and found that were open?
Yeah, so there were a whole lot of login desktops, a whole lot of Windows desktops with, you know, press Control Alt Delete to log in. But we found some other interesting things too. There's a couple car washes. We found, I think, let's see. We found a couple car washes. We found a whole lot of generators and gas plants and stuff that really shouldn't be on the internet.
So like SCADA systems, like very specialized industrial control stuff.
Yeah, we found a system that was running a PLC controller. I think my favorite thing though is we found a pharmacy sitting there at the prompt you could modify, send prescriptions, read private patient data.
Did you get yourself some Vicodin?
No touching.
Yeah.
But we're going to make sure that one's not on the internet anymore.
And so what do you do? Like, what's your responsible disclosure here? Do you just say, like, contact the ISP and say,
Well,
go, dude?
I mean, it's hard because, for one thing, now if you scan, now you have to do something with the results, and if you find something in the results, now you're obligated to tell someone about it. The process is, you start by talking to the US CERT, the Computer Emergency Response Teams. They're not always the best way to deal with something. So oftentimes it's try and figure out who the customer is and give them a call on the phone and say, hey, can I talk to your IT person?
But you're talking about thousands of hosts here.
Yeah, only the ones that have something that's seriously wrong are the ones that need that. You know, I mean, there are a whole lot of desktops, people doing their math homework.
People mining Bitcoin.
Yeah, people mining Bitcoin. Not touching that, not stealing anyone's Bitcoin wallet, but yeah, pretty much a slice of the internet doing what the internet does.
So tell me this, how long does it take to scan the internet for all 5900s?
Well, so it normally takes a while. With the distributed system that I set up, it took us 16 and a half minutes to do the whole internet. Minutes, yeah.
Well, what are you using, like 1,000 VPSs? Do you have a botnet somewhere? What's going on?
Well, it turns out this kind of traffic actually breaks VPSs. You knock over the networking stack on the host. So these are dedicated boxes. They cost about $100 a month a piece. I think we have 6 of them. Some of them I paid for. Some of them the hosting provider donated. So
and do you have to make sure that you find like a host that's not going to mind that you're like not spamming, but that you're just like, you know, spray and pray for 16 minutes?
Yeah, that's probably the biggest challenge, is finding someone whose policy says, yeah, this is okay, and then, you know, you contact them and work with them first and make sure that they're okay with what you're doing so they don't just shut you off.
You want to say what ISP you've had good experience with?
No, I'd rather not.
Okay.
Just because,
Yeah, totally understand. But yeah, so make sure that they're okay with you doing accidentally the whole internet.
Yeah. It will generate abuse complaints depending on who your ISP is. They may just ignore the abuse complaints if you're not actively causing trouble, or they may forward them all to you, which means you'll wake up every morning to
4 billion abuse complaints.
Well, not quite that many, but it's on the order of 15 or 20 a day.
Yeah, TLDR. So, how on earth do you do it that quickly? What programs are you using on the back end there?
Well, so I'm using a program called MassScan. The reason I use it is because it has a option for sharding, so you can split your job up into a bunch of little pieces. And the advantage of the way it does that is that you don't overload any one host on the internet at a given time. You know, if you sent all your traffic to each host in order, you'd knock hosts off the internet and people would be very unhappy. But if you send traffic over the course of 16 minutes, they don't mind so much. In addition to MassScan, I'm using a program called TASA, which is a distributed task queue, and it uses Redis on the back end to handle the traffic. When the system was running at full speed, Redis was handling several 100,000 requests per second.
Wow, this is like war dialing with thousands of phones. I absolutely love it. Tell me, how long did it take in pre-production before you even hit the button to go and launch who's out there?
Well, the hardest part was actually finding hosts that were okay with it.
So it wasn't the code or any of that?
The code. Well, I submitted the talk, and then I went to find the hosts, and that took a long time, and then I wrote most of the code last night. The night before last.
Awesome. So, like, all of that, and then the payoff is, so let's watch the graph for a few minutes.
Yeah, well, 3.5 million packets per second is quite a few. We pushed it up to 4 later in the evening, so that's quite a lot of packets at once.
Wow. Awesome. So have you published the code? Have you published the talk? Where can people find more?
Yeah, the code and the talk, my slides, all 10 of them, are up on the GitHub. The video isn't up, but feel free to contact me on Twitter or whatever, and I'm happy to help people get it working.
Cool. What's your Twitter?
@Paul M.
Paul, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Cheers.
Yep.
That just about wraps up this episode of Hak5. as we would like to demonstrate as we say goodbye to our jib that we do in fact wear pants on this show.
Yes, I hope so.
But
God.
the jib keeps going, so that's it. That's all we have for this week. We'll see you next time. Hak5.org/follow.
We
Get
should
yourself
probably tell
pineapple.
them. We should probably tell them about, a little bit more about this. This is our Mark V pineapple.
It's got 2 chips at the same
It
time.
has 2 chips. Yes, we have, what are they? The Realtek and the Atheros chipsets
Yes.
in this guy.
It's got fantastic stuff.
So you don't have to use
I saw the
the
announcement.
wireless adapter with
Yes,
it. It's
I
so
love
fun.
it.
Jibbin.
Our
She's
jibbing.
jibbing.
Okay, we've obviously had too much beer and Technolust, so Hak5.org/follow. And was there anything else we need to
And
add?
hackshop.com.
Hackshop.com. Thank
Yes.
you for your continued support, and we will see you down here. Down here. We will see you next week. Until then, I'm Darren Kitchen.
I'm Shannon Morse.
We're reminding you to trust,
Trust your Technolust. Bye. Bye. No, I
No,
think
I
it's up
think I
here.
found
It's back there.
No.
Did you find it? What are you doing down there?
It's over here.